video, I'll be sharing with you 5 life-changing books that I've read in the last 12 months that have completely shifted my mindset when it comes to money and wealth generation. The first book is Millionaire Fastlane. Now, this book is not your typical finance investing book. If anything, it's the complete opposite. This book tells you that actually you can make money relatively quickly by implementing some of the principles that he has shared in the book. As an individual, you should take advantage of systems. So I'm going to share a few of the systems he makes reference to. The first one is being an inventor, writing a book or creating a new product and allowing it to work for you through the process of patent and licensing of your new product. The second is to create something and expand it using the process of franchising. And if you know McDonald's or you know Domino's, then you should be aware of the concept of franchising, which is allowing someone to buy into some of the key components that allows that company to run as successfully as it does. The third thing he touches on is taking advantage of additional things like property, where you can basically make a living off of rental income. And the last thing he advises to take advantage of is the internet, the fact that you can reach an unlimited audience using technology. The second book that I'm going to talk about is Rich Dad Poor Dad. I feel like Rich Dad Poor Dad is the staple when it comes to financial literacy because everyone talks about it. And this book basically parallels the mindset difference between someone who is wealthy versus someone who is not wealthy. And the key takeaways for me from reading the book again is, number one, the best thing you can do to make your taxes more efficient is by starting your own company. The book also touches on the concept of paying yourself first before paying your bills. So again, you have a pot of money that you can use to invest into your future. So hopefully, fingers crossed, you are able to have a revenue generating vehicle that is not dependent on how much you are exchanging your time in order to get money. So the third thing that I got away from the book is the importance of being able to sell. Now, at different points in his life, Robert Kiyosaki was selling something. When he was younger, he was selling, I think it was comic books, and then he got a job in sales and was selling printers before he started a real estate business with his wife where they were buying and selling property. And the ability to be able to sell something in exchange to get something back was super valuable in the book and made me realize, again, in the world of money, there is something that is being transacted, and if you are able to sell yourself, you will always be able to get money. Or if you're able to sell a service or sell a skill or sell your business idea, you'll be able to generate money, which is what this whole channel is about. And the last thing that I got from the book is the importance of understanding what an asset is, which is something that generates money, and understanding what a liability is, which is something that takes money away from you. And the fact that rich people spend more of their money buying assets than they do liabilities, whereas poor people spend more time buying liabilities than they do assets. This book is not your typical finance book, but it is the almanac of Naval Ravikant. And the book basically talks about loads of individual things that can be applied to finance, which is making time to think. In a world that is sometimes quite overstimulating, you don't make time to think. And when we have our quiet time, that's when we're most creative. That's when we can think about problems that we would love to solve in the world. And the world teaches us that if you solve a problem, you will be rewarded for it. If you think about Facebook, Twitter, about Instagram, they were solving a problem at the time, and the people who created those websites have been financially rewarded. The second thing that the book really emphasizes is the importance of competing with yourself. And again, when you relate that to finances, you should never be trying to accumulate wealth to make yourself look like you're better than someone else. And there's another book which touches on that I will get to in a second. But rather it should be for you. It should be because of a bigger purpose or a bigger goal attached to your being in your own purpose and your own mission. The last thing the book reminds us of is that everything good benefits from compounding. So in the world of finance, if you invest in the stock market, then you will know that when compounding takes place, that's when the stock market becomes really fun to put money into, but there is time associated with that. If you think of relationships, the closest relationships that you have are probably ones that you've known or had for the longest period of time because you've gone through life together. The fourth book is Think and Grow Rich. This one is probably one that you would have seen that a lot of people talk about, and it's really good because it focuses on your psychology, it focuses on your why, like why do you want wealth in the first place, and it puts into perspective your life journey to getting the wealth that you desire. So from a psychology aspect, the book tells you that it's important you have a winning mindset. So there's no plan B. If you want to get to a destination, that's the only destination that you'll get to, and second best is not good enough. And as a result of that, it really honed in on being super defined. So in other words, not having an ambiguous destination, because if you have an ambiguous destination, chances are you're not going to get to where you want to get to. So in the book, it tells you to define how much exactly you want, and then you need to identify how exactly you're going to go about achieving the amount of money that you want. So in other words, you need to form a strategy, and you need to do the hard part, which is executing that strategy. And if accumulating wealth was easy, everyone would be super wealthy, but the execution part is the hard part. And the last one, which is one of my favorites, is The Best Life, and it's by a Christian pastor who I think is based in America. And it talks on financial principles which are actually derived from the Bible. And the first thing that the book touches on is the importance of tithing, the fact that when you earn a salary, the first 10% should go back to God in honor. The book is really interesting because it actually goes against what the other books kind of tells you a little bit. So you could argue that in order to get wealth, you need to save. But this book actually talks about the importance of giving, being able to sow into someone's life, being able to sow into a situation, being giving money away to charity. Like the fact that you shouldn't hold everything to yourself as you're trying to accumulate wealth, but you should also be impacting the lives of people around you. And in doing that, you actually become a lot more wealthy. And even in the real world, there are a handful of billionaires and millionaires who have dedicated a significant proportion of their wealth to solve issues that are affecting people who aren't as privileged. They are tackling health issues. I remember earlier this year there was a wealthy individual in America that decided to sponsor the next generation of doctors. That stuff is absolutely priceless. Yeah guys, those are the 5 books that I've read on financial literacy / mindsets that have been super life-changing. If you've read those books, let me know in the comments. It'll be interesting to see what your takeaway points are, and if you have any other book recommendations, then let me know. Otherwise, I will link to this video other videos related to this subject that I think you will find super interesting, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!